Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're unpacking a really fascinating dynamic in the world of web design. Look, everyone loves Elementor, right? It promises to turn us all into master web designers with just a few clicks, making beautiful WordPress websites feel almost effortless. But there's a very uncomfortable truth hiding beneath that simple drag-and-drop interface. Elementor makes it incredibly easy to build a website that looks absolutely stunning on a preview screen, but completely falls apart in the real world. Whether you're DIYing your site or handing it off to an agency, these hidden technical pitfalls are silently killing your performance, your SEO, and ultimately your sales. I want you to really let this quote sink in for a second. A beautiful website that doesn't convert is just expensive digital art. Wow, that really hits the nail on the head. This brings us to what we like to call the iceberg metaphor of web design. Surface beauty is literally just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the water, you have all these structural issues, the unseen mechanics that actually drive your business results. If you get so focused on making things look stunning that you forget the entire point of a website, you're simply investing in digital art, not a business tool.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Elementor illusion, performance and SEO killers, visuals that destroy UX, the conversion optimization trap, and finally, we'll wrap up with the viral chili solution.
Part 1, the Elementor illusion, where a site looks absolutely great on a desktop preview, but an amateur implementation completely falls apart in the real world. Moving right along to Part 2, performance and SEO killers. This is all about the unseen technical debt.
So this unseen technical debt, it literally destroys your search rankings and frustrates users before they even see your beautiful design. First up, we absolutely have to talk about page speed. Google uses these metrics called Core Web Vitals to measure your site speed, its responsiveness, and visual stability. Now, Elementor is kind of notorious for loading a ton of unnecessary CSS and JavaScript by default. And if you just leave this bloat unchecked, it's going to totally tank your Core Web Vitals score. It spikes your bounce rate, and it sends a glaring signal to Google and all those modern AI-powered search engines that your site just isn't worth ranking. This is mistake number 1, and crazy enough, it happens even with so-called professional builds.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly how a true professional fixes this. They don't just, cross their fingers and hope for better speed. They execute 3 highly specific steps to eliminate that Elementor bloat. Step 1, they go right into the settings and change Elementor's built-in CSS print method to external file. Step 2, they enable improved asset loading in the Experiments tab, so only the necessary code actually loads. And Step 3, they rigorously compress every single image before uploading, and then they layer a high-quality caching plugin like WP Rocket right on top. You see, these aren't just afterthoughts, this is absolutely foundational work.
Another massive SEO killer is poor heading structure. Look, Elementor makes it so incredibly easy to style text to look however you want, right? But because of this, DIY designers often make a huge mistake. They use an H1 or an H4 tag simply because they like the font size. They treat these tags like a paint palette instead of a structural map. This creates a completely broken hierarchy with multiple H1s or skipped H2s. Professional SEO, on the other hand, relies on semantic structure. You should have exactly one H1 per page containing your primary keyword, followed logically by your H2s and H3s. Search engine crawlers and AI engines like ChatGPT and Perplexity, they actually rely on the structure to understand your page.
And speaking of AI engines, let's talk about schema markup. Schema is essentially structured data that tells AI and Google search engines exactly what your content is. Is it an article, an FAQ, a local business, a product? If you skip this step, the search engines literally have to guess. And honestly, in the era of AI overviews and rich snippets, leaving this out means leaving massive search visibility on the table. Professionals use tools like Rank Math or Yoast SEO to build this in as a standard part of the whole shebang.
But, design isn't just about how a single page looks. It's about how all those pages connect together. Beautiful pages mean absolutely nothing if they are isolated islands. A stunning Elementor site with no coherent internal linking is just an SEO disaster waiting to happen. You absolutely need a site architecture plan. What does that mean? Well, it means routing internal links from your high-traffic blog posts directly to your key service or product pages. It means ensuring there are no orphaned pages just floating around with 0 links pointing to them. Plus, your navigation menus shouldn't bury important pages 3 levels deep. And you've got to have breadcrumbs on inner pages so users and web crawlers can actually find their way around.
All right, Part 3, Visuals that Destroy UX. Let's look at front-end design flaws.
And this brilliantly illustrates a fatal flaw in modern web design. Look at that 60% stat. Over 60% of web traffic comes from mobile devices today. Yet people still fall into the trap of obsessively perfecting the desktop version of a site and then doing this rushed, half-hearted mobile fix at the very end. The result? Massive desktop fonts overflowing on small screens or buttons that are just too tiny to tap. You have to design mobile first. Elementor has responsive controls built right in, so there is genuinely no excuse to ignore the platform where the vast majority of your audience actually lives.
And the UX chaos doesn't stop at mobile either. We constantly see messy typography absolutely destroying brand credibility. Think about it, using 4 or 5 different fonts across a single site, or setting line heights so tight that reading literally becomes painful. Then there's the animation trap. Yes, Elementor's motion effects are super fun, but heavy scroll-triggered animations cause layout shifts that hurt your scores and totally distract from your core message. Finally, a massive rookie mistake: skipping cross-browser testing. A site might look absolutely perfect on Chrome on a MacBook, but completely break on Safari for an iPhone. That's a very common pain point, and it instantly costs you credibility. A diligent approach means you're testing across Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge using proper tools.
Which brings us to Section 4, the conversion optimization trap, focusing way too much on aesthetics over core business goals.
So what does this all mean? Well, if your site isn't turning visitors into actual leads, you've fallen right into the trap. Poor conversion design hides calls to action down below the fold. It uses contact forms with way too many fields, and remember, every single extra field you add literally drops your conversion rate. It relies on weak, generic button copy like submit. I mean, submit is a word that belongs on a tax form, not a sales page. High conversion design, on the other hand, strategically places powerful hooks above the fold. It surrounds clear, action-oriented CTAs with trust signals, like badges or testimonials, and establishes a clear visual hierarchy that naturally guides the eye right toward the primary action. You need to design the page around user action, not just visual novelty. Finally, Section 5, the viral chili solution. It's time to introduce the hero that solves these deep business problems.
Because, honestly, the ultimate mistake, the one that actually causes all the other mistakes we've covered today, is this: trying to cut corners by attempting a DIY build without the right expertise or hiring an unspecialized designer. Look, Elementor has a very low barrier to entry, which is great for experimenting. But building a professional, high-performing business website, that requires deep technical, design, and SEO knowledge. Getting it wrong will cost you months of lost traffic and revenue. You really need an antidote to the DIY trap.
So, the crucial point here is the Viral Chili advantage. Viral Chili is a specialized Elementor web design agency that treats your website as a high-performance business tool, not just an art project. They don't just use Elementor, they engineer it. They bring deep technical expertise to the table, ensuring every single site is built mobile first and optimized for core web vitals right from the start. They implement advanced schema markup and semantic heading structures so you are completely primed for AI SEO. And most importantly, they build conversion-focused layouts that actually drive leads and revenue. They don't cut corners, and they definitely don't hand you a beautiful site that quietly underperforms.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Take a hard look at your current web presence. Is your Elementor site working for your business, or is it secretly working against it? Are hidden technical flaws silently costing you the sales you deserve? Don't let avoidable mistakes drain your revenue. If you're ready for a site that looks incredible and actually drives real business results, it might be time to work with a team that knows better, like Viral Chili. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.